In some ways, my media product has used conventions of a real media product. We have followed some typical conventions of a thriller freely, such as the use of Enigma code, in which is a common convention, but we do believe it to definitely keep the audience engaged and on the edge of their seats. This thriller opening follows the conventions of a psychological thriller. This narrative does emphasize the instability state of its characters, which is demonstrated through the use of identical twins, in which it is clear that in my opening one twin is sane, whereas the other one shares instability, in which presents binary opposites. You can see that we have tried to convey this convention as well the idea of there being one evil twin by the use of clothing, one in which Sianna is obviously the troubled twin shown by her black top as well as dark hair, showing the audience that she expresses the fact that she is different from her twin sister completely, which is what makes her stand out. On the other hand, Detective Felton is presented with a pale blue hoodie, in which I know that this colour connotes peace as well as delicacy. Her hair is also tied back, showing opposition from her twin, and in fact making her look more mature as to her job. Furthermore, the use of non-diegetic sound, which is usually quite airy or sinister. What we've done in terms of finding the right sound for the non-diegetic sound was find a copyright-free sound from online, and from there we decided on a type of abnormal sound, like a child playing the piano, which is quite innocent, to which people would find quite fascinating, however used within a new context, such as a thriller film, to which creates a dramatic effect and can make people, such as the target audience, feel uneasy. As we follow the conventions of a thriller, we have decided to have the shots from the opening filmed in domestic settings, such as the park as well as Sianna's bedroom, and which was inspired by the movie Seven. However, in some areas we have subverted the typical conventions with the use of characters within the thriller. My opening does challenge some of the conventions of a typical thriller, as I have used subversion within the use of my characters. For example, the characters, including myself, does not consist of a heterosexual male, and therefore subverts the Poppy white male hero theory, and furthermore casts the protagonist and antagonist as females, instead of the genre's typical male actors, and consists of a black ethnicity cast, in which again challenges the pop's white heterosexual male protagonist. The conventions of my thriller opening has been influenced by other thriller openings such as Before I Go to Sleep, Regression, as well as Seven. Before I Go to Sleep is based on a 40-year-old woman suffering from long-term memory loss, amnesia, and long story short, the narrative consists of non-linear narratives, such as flashbacks, to fill in the gaps within the narrative, as well as the enigma presented to the audience. This movie would have a grip on the audience as well, present a direct address as to the audience being just as clueless as the woman who suffers from amnesia. This has influenced my thriller opening so that we could use the same effect to engage the audience by presenting a lot of enigma code that will as well keep the audience engaged to find out what will happen next between Sianna, Detective Felton, and Alexa. As well, lead to a build-up of flashbacks that will set the scene. Portraying flashbacks are a typical convention of a thriller, adding mystery as well as enigma to the entire narrative. In fact, the flashbacks may give a clue to what actually happened to Alexa. The location for the opening is set in two locations, such as the bedroom and the park. A common convention of a thriller is set in a domestic location, in which builds to the suspense, as it will create enigma and make the audience either scared or excited. Being in the park sets off an innocent vibe, as children often play in the park, as connotes freedom. However, for a thriller to be presented within an innocent setting creates juxtaposition that gives to the suspense. The bedroom scene is influenced by the movie Seven, where Morgan Freeman is in his bedroom, in which he is zoned out but focuses on the sound coming from the metronome inside his room while in bed, even as the police sirens go off outside his house, presenting juxtaposition just like the park scene. Moreover, the idea of a conflicted character being in an innocent and peaceful location like the park, this will inspire the scene where Detective Felton is within the bedroom, sitting on the edge of the park, sitting on the edge of the bed, which will present destructive silence that will connote the character trying to be in control.